This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Katie Bark, and I'm the project director with Montana Team Nutrition. And I want to thank you for taking time to attend this webinar today called Grab and Go Menus During the COVID-19. I'm very pleased to present this webinar also with Kim Lloyd, who is the Summer Food Service Program Specialist, Camille Biazzo, who is the Assistant Director, and Pam Frew will also be attending, who is the Food Distribution Program Manager. We are recording this webinar, so it will be posted in the maps, hopefully by tomorrow, if not Friday. And then we will be emailing you the copy of some handouts, which will provide some cycle menus for grab and go menus, and some ideas for menu planning with USDA foods and some other training resources. So I have everyone on mute right now, just so we don't hear any background noise. I'm assuming many of you are still possibly in your kitchens. If you need to communicate, please do so through the chat box. And we will have people monitoring the chat box in case there's questions, but we will provide a time for question and answers and sharing time that we encourage you to share some ideas through the chat box. And or I can unmute you if you do have a microphone on your computer. So my name is Katie Bark, and I have the pleasure to work at Montana Team Nutrition at MSU, along with Molly Stenberg, Aubrey Roth, and Gretchen Groves, along with a couple farm to school coaches that are out in the field, Faith Oakland and Ginger Buchanan. So if you haven't already done so, you don't mind typing your school district name and the name of the attendees that are with you in the chat box. So we just have a record of who is attending today. Thank you for doing that. First of all, we want to start off with just thanking you. You are definitely superheroes, and you were on the front lines of this pandemic. So we really appreciate all that you and your staff are doing. And we just want to wish you the best in staying healthy. And again, want to thank you for serving our Montana families, your students and families. And I want to, I guess, first of all, thank also Miss Dale Hayes, who many of you know. She's a registered dietitian and she's a national consultant, but she also manages School Meals That Rock, Facebook page, Instagram, and then she has a tips for School Meals That Rock also, which has been excellent in sharing information. So if you aren't on that yet, I'd encourage you to join. We've been getting a lot of information and resources through that, through Dale, so I want to thank you. This cartoon you may have seen if you were on School Meals That Rock is from Gary Varvel. And it's really, I think, says it all that you guys are really superheroes. So thank you. So in today's webinar, what we hope to do is Kim Lloyd will start off with providing an overview of the summer food service program that you're using to serve grab and go meal service during meal closures. And she will include, an overview and then also including information on the meal pattern waiver. And then I will go over some menu ideas, cycle menu ideas and resources, and then also upcoming training opportunities. We hope that you'll be able to share some of the ideas you have from around grab and go menus. As you know, seems to be changing every day, but I hope you're taking really good care of yourselves and trying to stay calm in this, unprecedented event. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen and let Kim take it over.
Great, thank you, Katie.
Okay.
Just give us a moment while we switch over screens here.
Okay, Kim, I just made you the presenter, so you should be able to share your screen.
Yes, I see that. Perfect. Okay, can you see my screen, Katie?
Yes.
Wonderful, that was very smooth. Okay, thanks. Thank you, Katie, and thank you everyone again for joining us. My name is Kim Lloyd, and I am the Summer Food Service Program Manager at OPI School Nutrition. And I just wanted to go over a couple of resources that we have on our website and in the MAPS forum that may be of use to you right now. So right now I am on the opi.mt.gov webpage. This is the Office of Public Instruction's homepage. And pretty prominent on the front here is the Coronavirus and Schools page. And if you click on this, Coronavirus Information and Updates, this is a place that I recommend everyone check into frequently, as we are constantly getting new information, new waivers, and additional information. So please continue to check in here for the latest news regarding school closures. And there is information for the education side of things, but if we scroll down, we can also see school nutrition information. And the info in here helps explain what our options are right now during our unanticipated school closures. I know some of you are opting to stick with the NSLP program, which you are welcome to do if you're providing distance learning. Or for those of you that are eligible for the Summer Food Service Program, that is an option as well, so that you can serve all kids 18 and under free meals during this time. So on this page underneath school nutrition, we have info on all of the waivers to the program right now. And I wanted to briefly look through. If you click these drop downs, you can learn more about the stay-at-home directive, the options if you're providing distance learning, the options if you're not providing distance learning. And then right below here, it's really important to stay updated on what the waivers for the programs are. So as we all know, during the school year, and for those of you that maybe have run a summer food service program during normal summer, we know that these programs are often provided in a congregate setting where we are providing meals and sitting together to enjoy nutritious foods. However, during the unanticipated school closures, we have waivers for these programs to be operated as grab and go. And so that means picking up a meal and taking it away from the school so that we're not congregating and sharing germs, which we all know is not allowed at this time. So if we scroll down, you can see the different waivers that we've had for this program. Non-congregate feeding we're allowed to do through both summer food and the National School Lunch Program right now. We have also gotten a waiver to waive the meal pattern. And so to waive the meal pattern, we are allowed to waive specific meal pattern requirements when certain foods are not available due to the novel coronavirus. We haven't really seen a wide outbreak of this issue yet in the state, but we have heard from some communities they may have trouble now or in the near future to continue meeting the meal pattern requirements. And so if that is the case, we do have the option to waive some of the meal pattern requirements if you are unable to get certain foods to meet the meal pattern requirements. So in order to participate in any of these waivers, we have developed a survey and that is also linked on this page. We will be updating this afternoon, so this may not be available for a little bit of time, but if you come to this site, you can click on School Nutrition Waiver Survey, and there are options for each of the waivers that we would need additional information for in case you would like us to participate in these waivers. The ones that are listed in here right now, I should have mentioned another waiver is the parent guardian meal pickup waiver. So we've had a lot of communities ask if they can have parents or guardians pick up meals instead of the child having to be present. We know that it can be hard to get all the kids in the car and go to pick up a meal every day. So we do have a waiver for parents and guardians that pick up meals instead. Or if you'd like to participate in the meal pattern waiver, you would enter that information in the school nutrition waiver survey. And again, this is the OPI. These links can be accessed by clicking on opi.mt.gov and then this coronavirus in schools. Excuse me while I scroll down. And then clicking on this coronavirus information updates from the OPI homepage and scroll down to school nutrition. I should mention in here that as questions come up, whether you're doing the summer food service program or the national school lunch program, you are welcome to contact your regional specialist, and that is also linked under this section of the COVID-19 OPI homepage. Regional specialists are located throughout the state, and we're all here to answer your questions, but it's a great place to start to reach out to your regional specialist for assistance with any of these questions. And I believe we have a couple of them on the call right now too. So as you have questions, feel free to type them into the chat box. And then one more thing I'd like to review is the meal patterns for the summer food service program. So what I have up here on the page is the MAPS summer food service program. So this is the summer food service program, how it's accessed through MAPS, where you may enter your claims or fill out your applications. And underneath download forms, we have an emergency closure checklist. And on this page, we have links to what the meal patterns are for the different meals for the summer food service program. So just to open one up here, lunch is the most common meal being served right now, but all the meals are listed right there. The meal pattern requirements are pretty simplified for the summer food service program. For lunch, you have the 8 ounces of fluid milk, 3/4 cup fruit and vegetable, 2 types, an ounce of grains, and 2 ounce meat alternate to meet the meal pattern requirements. The options for summer to serve meals are that you can serve 2 meals per day through the summer food service program. And that could include any combination of breakfast, an AM snack, lunch, PM snack, and supper, except for you cannot serve lunch and supper in the same day. So you're welcome to serve only lunch, you're welcome to serve lunch and a snack, breakfast and lunch, whichever combination works for you and your community. We do have a number of schools right now opting to not only serve multiple meals at one time, so serving maybe breakfast and lunch, pick up, grab and go from 11 to noon, so that you have the 2 meals for the day. They're doing that, but they are also providing meals for multiple days at a time too. So you have that option. Again, if you are not following the every single day, if you're doing a different kind of meal service than you normally would, we do ask that you fill out that waiver survey that I pointed out on the OPI COVID page down here below the school nutrition waiver survey, just so that we have an idea of what is happening at each school, as we'll have to submit all this information to the USDA eventually as well. So Katie, I think I finished up everything. Please let me know if you'd like me to cover anything else.
Thank you, Kim. Can you hear me?
Yes, I will stop sharing my screen.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, can everybody see my screen now?
Yes. Oh,
Yes, okay, thank you.
yep.
Okay, so if you have questions for Kim, we will make sure you have time to ask them after I go through some ideas for menu planning ideas. And I do hope that people in the chat box will share some of their ideas also when they, you know, when we have some time to do that. Okay. As Kim went over, she went over the menu, I guess the basics for serving meals. Now, I think there's some background noise, so if you can make sure that you mute yourselves if you're not yeah, right now. Okay. But I guess in looking at menu planning basics, whether you're doing it, you know, you were doing it in your school or now for grab and go, the grab and go basics are obviously you have to decide what your capacity is for serving meals. So you may be serving just cold, or you may be doing just hot meals or a combination. So it really depends on what your capacity is for your, you know, facility right now and your staffing. The delivery system also obviously makes a difference in what you can serve. If you're going to serve it possibly at school for walk up or drive up delivery, or are you going to do it through a food truck or a bus? Your production and service staff obviously are, depending on what your capacity is with your staffing, that will also determine your menu. Your inventory and vendors, will go over that. And then obviously the cost and the reimbursement of what you're getting, because as you know, this meal for grab and go does not offer offer versus serve option. So you're providing the whole meal of the pattern that, excuse me, that Kim just went over as far as the summer food service program, or if you're following the regular lunch meal pattern, unless you get a meal pattern waiver. So those are just some factors I just wanted to start with. Sure, you're already there a review for you, but I just wanted to make sure we just start with some basics. The other thing I guess that is really important right now is the safety of you and your staff when you're preparing the meals or serving the meals. And this is where, again, thinking about what your capacity is for serving meals safely. And one of those things right now for your safety is staying 6 feet apart. As you know, that is what we're all trying to do. It's called social distancing. You know, like we're all, I mean, I'm working from home. All of our staff are. So it's important that when you're thinking of kitchen and food prep areas, you want to make sure you're staying 6 feet apart as much as you can for your own safety and the safety of your employees. With food safety, I know I'm speaking to the choir, so I think we are so proud of the excellent food safety practices that food service personnel do throughout your programs. So again, you are still maintaining those good sanitation practices, but sanitizing hands and surfaces regularly. As you know, clean hands are so important, and especially at this time, the proper use of gloves. If any of you are using masks, the proper use, so those gloves would be, you know, not contaminate food. So this is a graphic that is available from Lunch Assist. And if you don't know about Lunch Assist yet, this is why I want to make sure you know about this resource. It's www.lunchassist.org. There are graphics here, like the social distancing graphic that is on the slide, but there's about 4 other ones that if you want to use them for your meal delivery and in training your staff, they are available there. So when we're thinking about what you're going to be obviously planning on your grab and go menus, I think the first thing you're going to do, which I'm sure you probably have already done this, is look at what's in your inventory. Obviously using up what you have. I think we're all doing that when we're at home. But then looking at what are your procurement options. And this is where we'll start with obviously USDA foods, and there will be an April shipment coming. Your regular distributors who you can get food from, and looking at Montana vendors. What a great way to support the Montana economy right now if you can utilize some Montana vendors to help, have Montana foods on your menus. So when we look, I just wanted to go over a couple things that Pam Threw is on the call, and she will be able to further clarify, but she wanted to make sure that you are aware of that shipment 9 will be coming. It's the final delivery of USDA foods for this school year. You should expect it between April 6th and April 30th. All orders have been allocated and official adjustments are not possible at this time. Again, contact Pam if you have questions. Or if you absolutely cannot accept part or all of your delivery, and check with your delivery driver for extra items that might become available. As you know, OPI School Nutrition Programs is not associated with either of the Montana cooperatives, which are listed here. So really make sure you contact them directly if you have questions about those orders. You want to know that you can utilize your USDA DOD orders, your fresh fruit and vegetable orders through this time. And Pam also wanted to let you know of some changes that are occurring during this time. Due to the reduced usage, Grasmick Produce has eliminated the Thursday and Friday deliveries. So all deliveries now are early in the week. You order on Monday or Tuesday for delivery the following week. For example, if you order on Monday, April 6th, or Tuesday, April 7th, you'll have a delivery the next week, April 13th. And you can go to the favors link and or contact Pam or ask her a question in a few minutes if you need more information. And like I said, when you're looking at, we'll be going over some menu ideas with USDA foods, and then looking at some ideas for, again, really supporting the Montana economy with some Montana menus. If you are on the Harvest of the Month program, you've seen some of these recipes that I've linked here. Roasting chickpeas or a turkey spinach wrap, different vegetable salads like a lentil squash hummus. You're using any kind of having a hummus lunch, or like a salad, a root slaw. So those are just some ideas, but I would also encourage you to contact, or if any of your local produce vendors, to contact them, because sometimes, unfortunately, with the closure of a lot of the restaurants, or they're just serving less people at the restaurants through grab and go meals, some restaurants or some purveyors are wanting to donate some of their food. So we'd love to hear, if you want to put anything in the chat box, if any of you have been contacted by a local purveyor to see about donations to your program. But I understand that it's been happening in other states. Okay. So what to serve? Obviously, the breakfast meal pattern or the lunch meal pattern, if you're doing breakfast and lunch, or if you're doing the snack program pattern, I think most people are doing breakfast and lunch if they're providing 2 meals a day, but follow obviously the pattern that provides a variety of foods. You know, the meat alternate is providing good sources of protein, the grains, the vegetables. You can do the vegetable subgroups, 5 subgroups, to provide a variety, fruits, and then milk is offered, obviously. So I'm not going to spend time going over the meal pattern because I know you know those already, but just wanted to think about as we go through different menu ideas for the different components of the meal pattern, or what are some ideas. Now, many of you may be just doing cold meals, and this is where I just try to list, and we're going to make sure you get a copy of this PowerPoint. But also we have handouts that also have the same information that we'll be emailing you if you want menu ideas. But you'll see a lot of the cold items you can utilize USDA foods. We tried to list on this slide the USDA foods that came either in February or March or are coming in April. Again, so things that you would have in your storage. But I know schools are trying to provide, like Roger from Big Fork, I spoke to him yesterday, and one of his goals is to really serve real food, trying to do, you know, foods that are not all packaged foods in this time. So looking at making hummus with your chickpeas, tuna salad. I know in talking with Betty from Sims, she said her kids are loving the chicken salad, and she's using the fajita chicken. She does cook it a little bit to get the water out of it. Very, you know, don't have to cook it that long, but to get some of the water out of the chicken, she cooks it and then she chills it, obviously, and makes a chicken salad for a sandwich or a chicken salad in a cup with some crackers. So as you know, there's a variety of different ideas. Protein, if you can serve some protein at breakfast, that will just really boost the nutrition of that meal. And I know many of you may be using mozzarella cheese sticks or boiled eggs for breakfast. When we look at grain items, obviously, if you can do whole grain as much as possible, but I have realized sometimes there might be a supply problem, but you can get the whole grain tortillas through USDA Foods. The rotini is going to be available. There's some sweetbreads, pancakes, things that are a variety of grains. I know many of you are maybe doing the little packages of crackers. So just trying to provide a variety of grains. If you are looking at some of your vegetables, maybe you have canned sweet potatoes, you could make pumpkin bread, you know, or sweet potato bread that tastes like pumpkin bread. Betty from Sims has a great scone recipe. If you're looking to make, I don't know if you can do any baking at this time, it might be unrealistic, but we're going to share that scone recipe. You can make it a savory scone or a sweet, like a berry scone. Vegetables, obviously, as you know, with the meal pattern, the trying to offer students a variety of vegetables is where the vegetable subgroups came in, the 5 different subgroups: dark green, red and orange, starchy, legumes, and other. And this is where these always really just provide a variety of vegetables that you can serve. Obviously, with grab and go, it might be a lot of either in salads that many of you are doing as a main entree, as far as grab and go salads, or vegetable sticks, salsa. Some people, I know Noxon has done a cold pizza meal that obviously has the vegetables with the tomato sauce on it. Doing salads with black beans or garbanzo beans, or again, roasting garbanzo beans, even putting a little cinnamon and sugar on it, could be a breakfast protein. So the variety of fruits and vegetables, and this is where you can utilize your DOD program. Shelley, thanks for sharing in the chat box that the pizza has been a good big hit in Deer Lodge. I appreciate that. With looking at fruits, this is where, again, I'm trying to just offer a variety of fruits: fresh, dried, canned, juice. Do what you can. I know the USDA foods that will be coming. are some mixed berry cups, some applesauce cups came, strawberries cups. There's a lot of different canned fruits if you're looking for those to use. So just again, a variety of fruits and vegetables really add color and a lot of vitamins to the your meals. When you look at salad ideas, I think this is where there's a lot of options that you could make a whole meal with salad ideas, as far as your USDA routine with making a macaroni salad, but then also adding some protein to it through cheese, adding peas to it, adding lentils. I mean, there's an endless variety of trying to make different salads. As far as I saw on Livingston's school district, they were doing a cucumber, cold cucumbers, but also a cucumber salad, broccoli salad, frozen peas, you know, and the cheese salad, 3 bean. You'll be getting some green beans, I think, with USDA food shipment, fruit salad. So again, trying to just have some varieties, and that could be made into a main meal with some protein. I have to thank people for sharing pictures on Facebook, and I want to thank Tammy Wam and Louise Chandler from the Montana School Nutrition Association. Tammy's in Ennis and Louise is up in Knoxon, but you guys, whoever's sharing pictures, I even wanted to share some of the ideas because your meals look awesome. And I know you guys are under extreme stress, so we really appreciate all you're doing. But you see that chef salads are very popular in Stevensville, Glasgow. Also, Katie Porter posted this picture on the one on the right. The chef salads they're doing with deviled eggs. Livingston's, they're doing what they call their Lunchable or roll-ups, that they may give the children 2 like ham and cheese roll-ups, along with some cucumbers, yogurt, cheese, and crackers. And milk is obviously served with these, but I didn't take pictures of the milk, or they didn't. And then their Lunchable idea was like sandwich meat with cheese and crackers, fruit, yogurt, so just different things. Knoxon served their salad in a cup. And the one on the left is sort of like a taco salad with salsa on the top, fresh tomato with chips and other things. This on the right is their pizza meal. That's has pizza with a breadstick, carrots, milk, and little graham crackers and orange and bananas. So those are the choices. I talked to Roger yesterday. I really appreciated him calling, and he has offered to share his 2-week menu cycle with us. So we will be emailing this to the person that is from your school. If it's you, that's we'll have your email from you getting on the computer today. But he has allowed us to share his 2-week breakfast and lunch menu. He's doing cold items, all cold menus, offering breakfast and lunch with a 3-day meal service that they provide breakfast and lunch for 2 days at a time. And their meal service is through a walk up possibly or drive up at the school and a bus delivery. And so some of the items that he's had on his menu are listed here on this slide. Some of them I thought were really creative, as far as doing an Asian sweet and sour rice bowl with a mandarin orange cup and a fortune cookie and milk juice for lunch. Another breakfast was ham and egg cheese biscuit with fresh strawberries, milk and juice. Beef taco salad with tortilla chips, chipotle ranch salsa, and a pineapple cup with milk and juice. So just different ideas. Some deli sandwiches. Chicken salad is also popular in Big Fork. So we really appreciate Roger sharing that. And if you guys have menus or recipes you'd love to share, please send them either to myself or Kim or I think the specialists are on. Even everybody is share them, and we will get them out to people through Lunchline or try to share them with people. So because I know you guys are looking for ideas. In talking with Betty from Sims, they are doing cold and hot meals. And she was just really utilizing a lot of her USDA foods. Like I mentioned, she talked about the chicken salad being really popular. The other one that she did that the kids love was a meatloaf sandwich using the USDA foods ground beef, pulled pork, different casseroles, yogurt parfaits, and they make their own granola. And she did promise to share her scone recipe with us. Okay, I wanted to turn it over, and this is where I'm gonna, for some reason, I can't see my chat box now, so I might unmute people and see if anybody has a question and or type it in the chat box. And Kim, do you mind going over, if you can check and see if there's questions in the chat box?
Yeah, Katie, your box might be minimized. You can look into that, but I'm happy to read through the questions as well. I think Caroline and I have both been keeping up on them.
Oh, good. Are there any, do you want to start answering the questions, or let's see, I just found it again. Okay. Does anybody want to ask a question?
I see Lisa's question here. They're running the bus routes. Will those meals get paid? Lisa, it depends on if you're running them, if you're doing the summer food service program or the National School Lunch Program. If you're doing the summer food service program and they are in an eligible area, or you're making sure that at least half are eligible, then you can reimburse those through the summer food service program. Just make sure that your site, that your application is in and approved. Jennifer asked if anyone's concerned with kids reheating meals. I don't know if we want to have people type their responses in the chat box or respond as a group. Make it kind of noisy.
Yeah, why don't we have them respond in the chat box?
Okay, sorry, I see questions pouring in. Katie, I don't know if you want to address these or not.
Okay, sure.
I'm getting worried about milk already. So many fresh and breakfast ideas we can't get, or only getting limited amounts of. Anyone have ideas how to manage the milk? I don't know if that's a question for you or for the general group.
Is the milk, Shelley, the issue that you're afraid you're going to run out of milk? Okay, she was limited today. Well, I think this is where the meal pattern waiver comes in. If you aren't able to get it, you know, you can't do anything about it. I think, I don't know if it would be trying to serve something else from the calcium group, and if you're doing that. Roger just said from Big Fork, Cisco and USA Foods and FSA do have shelf-stable milk right now. So if you are ordering from them, you will be able to get it. Thank you for sharing that, Roger. And Renata is sharing milk with through gallons, using gallons, okay. Does Camille or any of, Kim, do you have anything else to say about the milk?
No, I think that's been the most common one that people are short on right now as far as the meal pattern. And yeah, I think the shelf stable is a great option if you're able to get that, or the gallon milk. Those are great suggestions. I don't know, Caroline, if you have anything to add to that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you, worst case scenario, if you do get to that point where you find yourself like a shipment doesn't come in and you don't have milk to serve, make sure you document it. Because, you know, obviously in times like these, like, we understand that things are, you know, things like that are, as time goes on, more like there's an increase of it happening. So don't, you know, be sure and call us, document it, and, you know, obviously still send out the rest of the meal. So don't think that you have to like close your doors that day or something, but make sure you well documented that you were not able to get it, and notify us, kind of thing, and you can still serve that meal.
Okay, I think Cindy has a question on, can we just keep track of our menus as we serve, or do we have to do a daily sheet for both grade school and high schools? I haven't done any daily sheets, just keeping track of what we are serving. Caroline or Kim, can you take that question, please?
This is Caroline. So you'll still need to do daily production records. They don't have to be like as in-depth as you might have done regularly, where, you know, you're forecasting, keeping track of over short amounts, but basically it kind of sounds, Cindy, it kind of sounds like if you're keeping track of like what you served, it sounds like you're doing most of what you need to do. Just make sure that you're writing those serving sizes for whatever the items are, but just so it sounds like you're kind of essentially already doing it, but maybe you might need to add a little bit more detail, like, okay, we did this many ounces of craisins or whatever, but still keep track of it from a production record standpoint, but just not as in depth as like you would need to during the school year. If that makes sense.
It sounds like Renata in Alder is doing some hot meals, but actually sending them home frozen and with instructions on how to cook the meals for the kids. And I know that came up yesterday in talking with Roger. If you do want any food labels on the packages are not required by, they're working with the state sanitarian on, you know, some guidance, but if you do want any labels, we were trying to come up with a template of a label that you could print off, like 30 to a page, to if you wanted to put what it was on there and any kind of instructions for cooking instructions, or if you wanted to say, you know, this is to keep the foods cold and to consume within so many days, but it's not required. But
this is Caroline again. I wanted to address Kathy Martin's question of how are you handing out meals keeping the 6 feet rule. There's a couple great resources. Gosh, I don't know where they are off the top of my head. So I believe they're in the area of the COVID-19 page. Kim, I can't remember where we put one with tips, but basically,
Yeah, it is on the COVID page.
Okay, perfect. So creating like a staging table where you set the meals and parents can individually come grab them, like without you having to like hand it, you know, but basically having like a set down point where they can pick it up. Also a good thing to employ if you can is like with tape or cones or whatever you have, creating 6 feet of distance so that there's a visual reminder for families that they need to be maintaining that spacing. But basically, like, you can put it in crates, the goal is to like separate out the meals individually so that you're not having to hand them out directly and then having like a staging area that you can set them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and making sure that all meals are unitized. We don't want like having to do offer versus serve or anything like that either.
I was going to try to bring up these to show in a picture of what, Caroline, you were just talking about with practicing no contact when you're delivering the meals, as far as if you can, like Caroline said, have either the orange cones or tape on the floor so you space people out, that they come up and get one meal at a time. You know, one family comes up and gets it at a time. But if I can't seem to find these with, you know, I was going to try to bring up the graphic. We can again show you.
Oh, here, Katie, I can put the link in the chat box.
Okay,
and
good.
Then you can be able to click on it.
That would be great.
I also really fast. I was to Margie in case this this hadn't been addressed where someone heard it. Is it all right to send out pre-cooked food and have the parents warm it up, or should it be made at the school before being sent out? It's fine to have hot items included in your menu. I know plenty of schools who are doing that where they're sending like sausage or eggs. Just make sure that you're sending directions. This is an area that we encourage schools to work with your local sanitarian in terms of like, you know, cooking directions or reheating directions to families, but that's not unallowable or anything from our standpoint. Just make sure that you include a little note or directions on the bag as to how, like what temperature it needs to be properly reheated to, like how long to put it in the microwave, kind of a thing.
Caroline, did you, or Kim, did you want to go over about, do you get a lunch count each day before serving? Or...
Oh, sorry, I didn't see that. Yeah, so for counting meals for the summer food service program, you need to be counting as they are picking up. So keeping a tally, or we do have a meal count sheet in download forms on the summer food service program application and maps. And that's just marking each student or each parent, sorry, or child or parent as they come through the line to pick up meals.
And this is Caroline. Kim's absolutely right. For anyone who gets those counts beforehand, that's completely fine if you're doing that just as a way to know how much to prepare. But just make sure that the actual count that you're claiming does reflect how many meals were taken that day. A lot of schools will do like an email thing where parents can kind of like sign up for, okay, we would like meals. That's totally fine. You can, you know, get your count if that's how, like the system that you guys have set up to know how many meals to prepare, but just make sure that the number you're actually claiming and like recording for the count that day is that number that Kim was saying, the actual day of, you know, how many meals were served.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yes, and then Shelly, for your question, but we just need a tally, don't have to have names attached, correct? That depends on your situation. If you are running summer, you know, you're claiming meals through SFSP as an open site, you don't need any names attached. If you're a school who, for whatever reason, you hadn't previously qualified for summer, and so so you kept running an SLP to, you know, be able to provide meals, that will change the requirements, obviously, because that is associated with children's benefit issuance designation. But if you are just doing SFSP, you don't need like names attached, and it's better to not.
Are there any other questions on USDA foods for Pam?
Or this is Caroline, for Kathy Martin's question on with the parent pickup waiver, do we just trust that they're taking what they actually have children for? Yes, I think, I mean, I know it's tough for schools when, you know, you're like that unknown. But yes, if we, like, the whole point of the waiver is to make social distancing more effective, to make it more conducive to our situation right now. So yeah, just trust that the parents are, I mean, obviously it needs to be communicated in case like there's someone of the community that has no idea what, you know, they're getting and they don't know that it's just for kids. So we recommend like having like a sign somewhere or like a handout taped to the bag, like this is for consumption of children ages 18 and under only. But yes, you can just trust that you know, because that they are having it for kids. With the waiver, it does make it so that kids don't have to be present. And then Cindy, I wanna pull, Katie, can we pull up, hold on, can we get that, that,
If you want,
the one that's, that Dale's, we could pick, or we have the Q&A one, hang on a second.
what are you looking for?
The handout that talks about the 6 feet rule, we have the Q&A as well as the one that Dale consulted on. I wanted to pull that up on the screen.
I put the link in the chat box, Katie, if you want to pull that one up.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, there we go.
I think I can just do it right here.
Oh, great.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Are you guys able to see that?
Yes. Okay. So I was going to say, so the link is in the chat, Kathy, or not, this isn't Kathy. Who asked this? Cindy, sorry. There is the direct link in the chat box for you to like save this. And then you can also see on the screen, there's tips, there's great food safety tips on this sheet. We also, OPI also has a Q&A document that talks about specifically how to address the 6 feet requirement regarding bus delivery. Hang on, let me see if we have it up. Is that one, do you know, Kim, if that one's on our section of the COVID page? I don't know where that one got posted. Disclosure.
Sorry, I'm not sure which document that is.
I don't know. It was, oh gosh, I don't think it's posted yet. Basically, okay, here we go. Nice.
This is one of the graphics, and there's 6 of these graphics, or 7, that Lunch Assist developed. Can you guys see this one that shows the drive-through meal service, that there's a table with the lunches or the meals, 6 feet between the person that's giving it to the parent, and they put it, you know, as somebody drives up, they put the meals on the cart, and then the family takes it. And so there's no contact between the server, you know, your staff possibly, or it could be a non-food service staff, and the parent.
Yes, that is wonderful. And if you're thinking specifically for bus delivery, something you could do is like bringing even like a little card table with, and at each stop, yeah, like setting it out, bringing some sort of like a platform or something with you, even a, you know, a chair, something that you can take out of the vehicle, put it 6 feet, at least 6 feet away, and then have that be your staging area so people can kind of like take from there.
So is this what you're thinking? Or maybe it's too big.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Katie. Those are awesome.
Yeah, there's, again, so just no contact, hands off. And this is what you were talking about, Caroline, having a staging area. And then obviously using sanitizing solution, you know, frequently on the table if needed, or and trying to keep people, I don't know if you guys have noticed in our grocery stores now, they're putting tape on the floors so people are not more than 6 feet away from each other, even when they're checking out. So this one is the drive through. I think we showed that. And then there's ones here that show, I thought I could get it. Oh gosh.
And I don't know why, but for whatever reason, the only one that I had to post, Katie, was like the first page. So maybe it might be a good idea if, could I get those files from you of the graphics perhaps to post?
Yes. Yeah, and these are on the Lunch Assist website. you know, but I can email them to you. But all these handouts that Caroline's been talking about, like the one that we just showed, is on www.lunchassist. I don't know if you can read that .org. If you go to the coronavirus section of the website, they're all there.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay. What other questions are there? Questions?
There's a FFVP question, Caroline.
Oh, I missed it. What does it say? Should we be? Let's see.
Can we use any of our FFVP money during this closure period?
Okay. Hi, Ramona. So if you are running summer, if you are claiming meals through SFSP, you cannot, unfortunately, use FFVP funds. I know it's a huge bummer. If you're providing distance learning and still running the NSLP, you still have access to those dollars. But unfortunately, FFVP dollars, those are housed under the umbrella of NSLP. And so when schools are closed and you're operating under the SFSP funding pool, those dollars are no longer available. It's as if the school year's over. My apologies. I wish you could still use them. I know it's a bonus. Let's see. And then I was going to say, Diane, it's a good idea to be disinfecting incoming like shipments, but it's not something that you need to be spending. I don't know. It kind of cost benefit analysis, like with I would say the labor that you have available, like whatever you guys can do. But mostly like whatever surfaces, even if you can't disinfect packages that are coming in, that's where frequent hand washing really, really comes in to play. We always say this to schools, but do not reuse gloves. I mean, I know we're in a PPE shortage, but reusing gloves negates any benefit. So if you're using gloves, making sure that you're changing them. Like if you receive a shipment and you don't have time to clean it, then changing your gloves after you open the box, kind of a thing. Here, Jolene, unfortunately, you can't operate both programs, to my knowledge. Since you guys are operating SFSP, you can only use those dollars. Claiming wise, that's not to say though that you can't, like a lot of schools will be claiming under both for March, since we did 2 weeks of school regularly. So that's not, that's completely fine, but just not, running both of those programs at the very same time. That's not allowable. Let's see. Okay, I think those are all. Any other questions or questions that we missed? Katie, thank you so much. This was a lot of awesome information.
Oh, great. Well, I do want to just end, I guess, with through South Dakota State Extension Service, they came up also with a 4-week menu cycle for K-8 and one for 9-12, and it's on this website. So we'll make sure we'll send this out to you. Some people are still also using lunchbox recipes from Chef Ann. And then again, if you're looking for connections through social media, I definitely would recommend the Facebook pages of Montana School Nutrition Association, Montana Farm to School, and School Meals That Rock. That, as you know, Dale Hayes, and you have to ask to join the tips for School Meals That Rock. But that's where school districts around the nation have been sharing all sorts of resources. Like if somebody was looking for a meal count Excel file, somebody developed one and put it there. So if any kind of resources you're looking for, please let us know, and we will try to either locate or find them for you or develop them. The Lunch Assist blog also is another good way to connect if you're wanting to do this. And then there are more training opportunities available. School Nutrition Association has a Wednesday webinar. It's at noon, but they are recorded and they're open to anybody. You don't even have to be a member because they are on the COVID-19 pandemic. So they're trying to provide resources. There's a free food safety course if you have any new employees or people that are not your food service employees and you want to make sure that they are trained in food safety. There's a free course. And then next week we were going to look at food safety, food service safety precautions, some of the things we've gone over today as a Wednesday webinar topic. So just let us know how we can help you and stay in touch. Anything else that Kim or Caroline or Pam would like to say before we are out of time?
No, thank you so much, Katie.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you. And thank everyone so much for everything you're doing and all the hard work you put in to navigate this unprecedented situation. We appreciate all of it.
That's for sure. And please take good care and stay well and contact us, but we will email the handouts that we referred to, and Roger from Big Forks menu cycle, and a handout on how some menu ideas for USDA foods and local foods. So thank you very much and have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.